Morning, everybody. Right, I am here today to talk to you about big banks. We all love a big banker. Right, this morning I was in a pretty good mood until I went online and I had a look at my bank account. Now, I've spoken about this on Facebook this morning, and I took a little bit of a battering from a few people whose attitude is, bank accounts aren't necessary. You don't need a bank account. If you haven't got the money, don't spend the money, and then you can't be charged. Right. First thing I'm going to say to you is, get your head out your arse. Look, I'm not trying to be rude, but let's be honest here, okay? We all know that the banking system has us by the balls. If you haven't got a bank account in this day and age, you pretty much cannot survive in this shit heap of a society. So, of course, I've got a bank account, just like pretty much 99% of the country have got a bank account. Now, I only use my bank account for one thing. It's to pay one bill. Everything else I do in cash. I have one bill that goes out of this bank account. So it's not touched for the rest of the month. That is all it's there for. And I had a look at my account this morning, and I had been charged well over £200 in bank fees today. Now, you've got to bear in mind that one bill goes out of this account each month, right? I do have an overdraft facility on this account that's always been on the account, and I pretty much just leave it dormant. Now, I get charged £6 a month for the privilege of having this overdraft. And basically what's happened is the money that goes into this account for me to pay this one bill, in the same space of time, all in one day, I was charged this very small amount of £6 to have this overdraft facility. The bill went out on the same day, and basically this my bank account went overdrawn. It went over its overdraft by £3, right? So for the pleasure of going £3 over because of a charge they'd taken out on the same day, which is never on the same day, I might add. It's taken out whenever they feel like they want to take this charge out, and it was taken out on the same day as this bill. So for being £3 overdrawn, I was charged £94. £94. Now, the account wasn't even overdrawn for 24 hours, and I got charged £94 for the pleasure. So, naturally, I phoned the bank this morning and I explained to them that I would quite like my money back, because, well, saying that, it wasn't even really my money. It's their money that they've taken because I wasn't using the facility. They charged this £6 and then decided, £94. So basically, they've charged themselves in effect, but obviously it's had the impact on the fact that my account is now overdrawn, and as soon as money goes back into that account, it's going to come out of my pocket. So obviously I phoned them up and I explained that actually they can shove it up their arse, and they seemed quite surprised. They weren't surprised that I wanted the £94 back. That's not what they were surprised about. What they were surprised about was that I then explained to them that actually the reason they've charged me the £94 is because of the £6 that they took, and that in less than 24 hours I would suggest that a £94 charge is a little bit excessive and unfair. So they kind of agreed that, yeah, it was probably a bit unfair. So they then put me through to another department. Now, bear in mind that they charge you 14p a minute for the privilege of phoning them up to complain about them being a set of fraudsters. So they use every delay tactic in the book. You have to go through fuck knows how many options, settings, and God knows what else until you can get through. So you're still being charged probably about the same amount that I was being charged anyway. So they put me through to this woman in another call centre somewhere else, and I explained to her that, you know, I want the £94 put back into the account so that I'm not shafted for it in a few days. So she says to me, will you suffer for losing the £94? And I said to her, sorry, can you just explain to me what you mean by suffer? And she said, well, will it stop you from being able to feed your children or pay your living expenses and blah, blah, blah? And I said to her, well, to be quite frank, I don't really see that has any impact on the fact that you have fraudulently taken money out of my bank account. And this, even though I didn't mention this particular part on Facebook, this did spark a bit of a debate from people who were saying, it's not fair that I work 50 hours a week and this, that and the other and blah, blah, blah. Basically, the whole divide and rule tactic works brilliantly well. Now, I don't care whether you've got £10 million in the bank or whether you've got 10 pence in the bank. It's fucking irrelevant. At the end of the day, these massive fucking criminal, money laundering, drug running, racketeering cunts are stealing your money. And it's not even real money. These are digits that move from one screen to another. This is not physical, hard cash. Now, we all know full well that these banks have publicly been reprimanded for their actions, and you can go and you can claim your money back. Now, obviously, they didn't really have much of an argument over the £94, so they are putting it back in my bank account within the next few days. But what they were really, really shocked about was that I then asked them if they have a particular form that they can send me for me to claim back any charges, any historical charges on my bank account over the last however many years. And she was a bit unsure. She was a bit taken aback by me asking, and she said, I don't think we do. And I said to her, well, you know, obviously I do know that that now all of you banks are being told off basically for ripping off your customers. So I would assume that there is a form where I can claim back all of the money that you've stolen from me. And she pondered for a few minutes, didn't really know what to do. So in the end, she gives me this address to write to the customer services department of the bank and politely ask for my money back. Now, obviously, I took down the address quite politely and blah-de-blah, and eventually finished the phone call. And then I went onto Facebook, and a few people actually made a few things clear to me, and they've given me some quite good information this morning. And it's not really something I've had to deal with before. So somebody sent me something, and this is for people who are struggling financially, whether you're on benefits or whatever else. Now, a few people took umbrage to this because obviously their attitude is, oh, people on benefits get more money than anyone else. Fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. You clearly watch too much mainstream television, and just shut the fuck up. It's bullshit. So basically, there is an Act of Parliament called the Administration Act of 1992, and it is under subsection 187 of this Act in Parliament, that if you are claiming any of the following, it is illegal for a bank to charge you any form of fee. And Bianca from Beat the Bailiffs this morning gave me this great bit of advice, which is to, rather than write to customer services and fight them that way, write directly, an email directly to the CEO of your bank, whichever bank you're with. Now, the CEO of my bank is Nathan Bostock, so I've emailed him this morning. Now, I'll give you the list of things that if you claim any of these things, they're breaking the law by charging you, and they have to legally give you your money back. They're breaking the law. So if you claim income support, tax credits, child benefit, job seekers allowance, disabled living allowance, well, disability living allowance, which now is probably, I think, is actually ESA, attendance allowance, CSA payments, or other DWP, Department for Work and Pensions payments. If you claim any of those, which quite a lot of people still either get tax credits or child benefit. I know that a lot of people have lost out, but there still will be a lot of people who are working full time that do get those. Just write to the CEO of your bank and explain to them that under this Admin Act of 1992, subsection 187, they owe you every penny they've ever taken from you. Also explain to them that if they do not act swiftly over the matter, that you will take your complaint to an ombudsman. And if you do that, explain to them that you will take each and every separate fee claim that they've ever taken, which most people have got quite a few, and you'll file them all separately, because for each claim you make, the banks are charged £350 for every case that's taken to an ombudsman. So make sure you explain that you're going to take them all separately. Every single charge you've ever had, no matter how much it is or isn't, do them separately. And I think you'll find that very, very quickly you will get a response, and you will probably be quite successful in getting your money back. The other thing I saw this morning is that people are becoming quite successful at getting back their council tax, because we all know, well, if you don't know, you should know, that council tax is a massive fucking fraud. Now, it's all very well to say that, well, we need council tax for services in our local authority and blah, blah, blah. You pay income tax, okay? And most people pay a fucking lot of income tax. Council tax is a racket, it is a fraud, alright? You don't have to pay it. When they say they're taking you to court and they send you a court summons, whoever has signed that is not a clerk of the court. Now, it is only legal if a clerk of the court signs it. And although there is a signature that says that someone from the court has signed it, what it actually is that each local council hires out a room in the court to hold their council tax hearings. Now, I don't pay council tax, and I didn't pay it for a reason. I actually tell a lie, no, I did pay a huge chunk of council tax earlier on in the year, before I really understood what the situation was. And then I realised I was being taken the living piss out of. So basically what I did was, rather than hassle myself with writing to them and going through all this shit that they pull on you and whatever else, I tried a different tactic, which was just to basically completely ignore them. Now, I had 3 court summonses. I ignored each and every one of them because it's not legal. And I'm not going to respond to it. And eventually I got a letter a couple of weeks ago now, actually it was, telling me that in my absence they had made a decision about my case. Now, bear in mind, they threatened to take you to court. They threatened to throw you in jail for not paying your council tax. I ignored 3 court summonses, and I'll tell you the outcome. I received a letter telling me that now, from now on, I pay £3 a month in council tax. This is absolutely true. I will post the letter on my Facebook, which, as you all know, is completely open, so you can see for yourselves. I'm not sure that it would be the same outcome for everybody, but that is basically what they decided with me, because I think they've just fucking given up, because whenever they see my name, they must think, oh, fuck this shit. So, I'm not necessarily saying you should try it that way, but that is what worked for me. I am going to upload another video tomorrow, because I want to cover what's happened this week with the Channel 4 documentary, The Paedophile Next Door. I wanted to wait and see the reactions that other people had to it, and their opinions as well. And I'm going to focus on that tomorrow, because there's a few things that I need to find out regarding some of the people that were in the documentary itself. And before I say anything, I want to do everything I can to find out who these people are. So on that note, I'll leave you to it. You can happily join me on Facebook, or you can go and have a look on my website, danielleleverite.com.